There is no chance that the Brics will replace the U.S. dollar in international trade, and any country that tries should wave goodbye to America. Like Feifel. So let's go to this Brics. Actually, last few years, there's been this new axis, for lack of a better word. China, Russia, a few other nations, right? That have sort of been leading against the West, and includes North Korea, Iran, Russia, China. I'm trying to think, Brazil.
All the players.
So the most public sign of that we see right now of China and Russia's push to sort of de-Americanize the world. And Donald Trump was, again, he gave a perfect Trump response at this point. And thank God that you have someone like that. Can you imagine these stories right now if Kamala Harris was going to be next? It wasn't just about Joe Biden. It was about 8 years unfettered. This would have gotten so bad so quickly.
Yeah.
But here's actually a little bit of backstory on Brics, China, Russia trying to un-Americanize the world.
Russian President Vladimir Putin is hosting a gathering of world leaders for the BRICS Summit of Emerging Economies today.
Before we finish the BRICS montage, because look, pretty much here's what you need to know. BRICS, it's not going to happen. There's a 0% chance, and Donald Trump told them, like, go screw yourself, 100% tariff, pretty much. And so they're like, oh, okay, we're not going to do this. That's pretty much about all I care about. But there's a lot more that maybe you may want to know or should know about BRICS because there's been a lot of fear-mongering on the right. So Gerald is more interested in this than I am, and that means that it's time for Gerald Knows. What is this one?
Geopolitics.
Okay, hit the expensive stinger. We can afford that, but I still ain't got no bananas in my office.
Ah, come on.
Cost more than a banana?
No, they're not in season.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Of course not.
It definitely does.
They repurposed the stinger and just drew a line through a word.
What do you think? You think that just happens?
That takes?
Yeah, exactly, Noodles.
What, 5 minutes?
Yeah, it's a whole graphic. Somebody's got to do an overlay.
You just take things for granted.
I do.
You've never, you know what? That's
Scratching
the
out a
problem.
word.
Is you come from this from a business perspective, not the creative perspective. You know
Gerald
what? I get it. Noodles, you're an artist, and don't stop being you.
Yeah,
and
he
you know
thinks
what?
wine is more work than that.
No, exactly. You know what? What you guys create is something unique, and it's something that's in you. And guess what? It's in you, and he can never take that away from you. You keep it with you wherever you go, and you keep yourself warm.
You.
Don't look at him. You can look at me anytime he's trying to be abusive.
Gerald should have to make his own stingers.
Yes, he should.
Oh, no, that'd be really bad. Somebody out there do a stinger for me. I'm going to need some help.
Yeah, I'll give you construction paper, Gerald.
Let's finish the BRICS montage, and we'll bring in Lane the Brain. Ginger Snap.
Russian President Vladimir Putin is hosting a gathering of world leaders for the BRICS Summit of Emerging Economies today. BRICS for those emerging economies. It comes amid Western sanctions and an international arrest warrant following Moscow's invasion of Ukraine in 2022.
BRICS is the first serious challenge to the Western-led financial order since the end of World War II.
The BRICS is trying to position itself as the voice for emerging economies and challenge Western dominance of global affairs.
Not to mention, China, Russia, Brazil, India, and South Africa have already joined forces to transact in their own reserve currency that's separate from our dollars, referred to as BRICS.
Dollars' days could be numbered. BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and their allies is playing chess while the U.S. is playing checkers.
Oh, they're playing chess and the U.S. is playing checkers. Oh, my gosh. I hope India doesn't get the better of us. So,
you know what? How about you king me? That's what I say.
There you go.
when did it become so cool to crap on checkers? You know, checkers is a fun game.
Checkers rules, dude.
Checkers is fun.
You could own little kids. It's awesome.
Yeah, exactly. If
Stupid
not, you can
kids.
just smack them. They can't do anything.
Yeah.
They can't fight. All right. So we have Lane the Brain here. Obviously knows geopolitics quite well, and you guys loved him, of course.
He would
on
get a better
Election Day.
stinger than I would if we had a Lane knows geopolitics, which is probably the best stinger for us.
Yeah, but he doesn't have an
knows
ego.
geopolitics really
He's a
well.
team player, so he understands that this is you're part of the orchestra.
Yeah, you play your role for the betterment of the team.
Yeah, and by the way, he would be like the violinist or like the yo-yo ma, and you'd be the fat guy with a tuba.
If this was an orchestra, I'd be the guy who plays the drum once.
Yeah. And light up a joint.
Yeah.
I'll be back.
Yeah. I got time.
All right, everyone wanted that in music class. Everyone wanted to play the drums, and I took it 3 years in a row thinking I'm due.
You're not going to get it.
So I chose the oboe because what's the next funniest instrument? And my music teacher broke my reed and said, "You now play clarinet."
Ah, what a jerk.
I know. Well,
break your reed?
Because I was really bad. So the real purpose here of BRICS is to de-dollarize the economy, right? You and Ginger Snap can kind of. You want me to read the?
Well, that's exactly right. So look, I feel like what we've seen on the right is a lot of fear mongering, like the dollar's days are over, right? And you see that a lot of times. And look, I'm happy to call it the left, and we want to do that, and we want to make sure we do that as well on the right. When the right goes way too far on something, and it's like, look, you need context, you need to understand what's actually going on. But suffice it to say, Donald Trump understands exactly what's going on, and his response is perfect for saying, hey, there's a new sheriff in town.
Well, when these people act like having experience working in intelligence agencies, if you don't have that lifetime experience, you won't understand how they work. Well, can we then at least acknowledge that you're not going to understand how international commerce works if you have zero experience? Donald Trump does. I mean, look at Donald Trump's Donald Trump knows how to do business in a foreign land. He has a pretty good you may not like him, but he has more experience with that than any president likely in history, in certainly modern history. So he wrote this on Truth. He said, the idea that Brics countries are trying to move away from the dollar while we stand by and watch is over! We require by the way, he writes these because he couldn't have someone else write them, be like, type over in caps! Like I would! We require a commitment from these countries that they will neither create a new Brics currency nor back any other currency to replace the very mighty U.S. dollar, mightier than the Ducks, Bombay, Triple Deke, or they will face, he goes left, he goes right, he goes left again. Can't stop it. They will face 100% tariffs, 100% tariffs, and should expect to say goodbye to selling into the wonderful U.S. economy. They can go find another sucker. There is no chance that the Brics will replace the U.S. dollar in international trade, and any country that tries should wave goodbye to America. Like Feifel.
I love his response. Like, he's so threatening. He's so bombastic. He's so over the top. And he's just negotiating.
Yeah, well.
He's just setting policy and basically just setting himself up to have a position of strength to negotiate from.
And India is such an easily intimidated people that if Putin would be like, "Niet, we will not, where are you going? He believe what he say, I'm gone."
Yeah, okay.
You heard him, 100%, there's nothing we can do. He posted until so it's over.
We can't spell Brics without the I.
Well, Brics. B-R-C-S.
Brics.
It has a ring to it. You try. I go. So explain to us, Lane and Gerald, what Brics is for people who don't really know the history.
Yeah, so Lane, that's one of the reasons I brought you in, right?
Yeah.
So kind of just go through some fast facts here and we'll talk about this. But, formally established in 2009, and it's a non-formal, and this is one of the biggest key components here, non-military grouping that coordinates on economics and diplomacy. And that's kind of funny to me, because the fact that these countries are supposed to coordinate on economics is laughable in and of itself, and that might be an Achilles heel, but we'll get to that in just a second. But they're basically just focusing on diminishing the United States' leading kind of role, and kind of the West's leading role in global affairs. They don't like it that we get to flex our muscles quite frequently with the U.S. dollar.
One thing, and I don't want to interject, but I do love that there's 9 members, but they also are thinking about allowing Cuba.
Yeah, that's the newest one.
It's like, you know what this team feels incomplete. Cuba? Like, how are you going?
No.
Yeah, that's going to cripple the United States. Yeah, the aside from Haiti, one of the poorest economies in the world. So
exactly. If the number 1 draft pick is Cuba, you're screwed.
Well, it'll be like their number 35 draft pick at this point.
That's true.
But, Argentina was going to go into it, then Milei pulled out and stuff.
No.
But everyone acts like it's good. They always group like NATO versus BRICS. Well, that's not really a thing because NATO is a military alliance first and foremost.
Right.
BRICS is aimed at combating institutions like the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund.
Sorry, this was right
like Charlie Brown doing Geopolitics.
If you look at the monitor, this is right here. So I was like, I got to move.
That's a good framing, actually.
Yeah, you want me to keep it like that? There you go.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, right there. That's good.
Very Christmassy. I like it.
It's like your portrait. Like you go to Sears, no money, no pay. Go.
But yeah, and we'll get into it later, but mostly the share of the U.S. dollar in terms of trade and reserve status, and also our payment system. So basically, insulate themselves from the West and kind of how the West has shaped the global economy over the past 75 years.
And I don't think a lot of people understand that that's where the United States gets a lot of their power. It's not just buying power, right? It's not just having an economy that purchases goods and services from other countries. It's our ability to shape global kind of monetary policy and economies through the dollar. So here's fast fact number 2, right? So what they want basically to do to the U.S. dollar here, they want to reduce the dependency on the dollar from other countries, right? So by creating this alternative currency or other alternative currencies and also payment systems.
That's the big one.
Yeah, that is the big one, right?
Yeah, so the ones there we talk about was like remember when Russia invaded Ukraine in February 2022?
I heard something about it.
It's been in the news a couple times.
It's a thing.
I think. I don't know.
Yeah.
Tucker went there and they have great shopping carts.
Yes, they do. And subways.
They're beautiful, designed by English architects.
Sandwiches?
Also, there was that thing where Kinzinger released his sex tape from Ukraine. It was just him jerking off for the Ukrainian flag. Sorry, go ahead.
Not good.
crying.
I saw it.
Not a good look. Not a good look.
But we took them. Remember, we sanctioned all the Russian banks and took them off SWIFT.
Yeah.
Which SWIFT is the messaging system that banks use to facilitate international money transfers.
Right.
And so basically, by taking the Russian banks, whatever banks we decide to sanction off of that, it's very hard to process payments across borders. So the Chinese and the Russians have developed their own systems to do transactions in rubles or transactions in renminbi and stuff like that. So that is what Brics is theoretically trying to do outside of establishing a new currency to rival the dollar, a different way to actually transfer payments across international borders.
Yeah, and that gives us a whole lot of power. Having that lever to be able to pull
100%
gives us a ton of power right now. And this is what most people don't realize about what is going on with Brics and U.S. monetary policy. All right, so March 2023.
Oh, you want me to read the quote?
Yeah, read the quote for me.
This is Duma Deputy Chairman Alexander Babakov said about this Brics possible currency. Its composition should be based on inducting new monetary ties established on a strategy that does not defend the US dollars or euro, but rather forms a new currency competent of benefiting our shared objectives. And Kinzinger, you no longer use flag as sex towel.
We can all agree with that.
Yes, we can all agree with that.
We can all get behind that.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. So tell us some of the things that having the U.S. dollar be kind of the world's leading currency, like the reserve currency essentially of the world, what does that allow us to do?
Well, it basically allows for our economy to be as prosperous as it is, kind of as an overarching statement. But
I don't like it.
They don't like it.
Yet.
They want to kill that.
It's first of all, it's very easy, like I said, to impose sanctions when you control the flow of money to a certain extent, when people have to invest in your currency. But also with the SWIFT system, every transaction that takes place, the Western institutions have they can see the transactions taking place. So if one's taking place with a sanctioned entity, they can cut off that payment transfer.
Right.
So it gives us a lot of leverage on not only our ability to facilitate a healthy economy, but to kind of punish other countries if they don't follow what we want them to follow.
And it allows like better liquidity for American-based companies, things like that. But it seems like Brics, they were focused mainly on the sanctions.
They were focused on the sanctions, but it's good. The good for us is it allows us to borrow at low interest rates.
Right. Yeah.
People want to invest in our bonds and our bonds and our securities because they know it's a good return because the U.S. dollar is stable. But the thing that they're most concerned about is that we can turn on and off the faucet as we please.
We can turn $6 billion into nothing.
Well, we froze all of their foreign, all their U.S. denominated reserves as soon as they invaded Ukraine. So,
but there you go. Well, so what chance do they have of actually getting this thing done?
On a common currency, I would argue there's zero chance. So the thing that Trump is talking about, I would say there's no chance in hell for a multitude of reasons.
Well, tell me what the reasons are.
Oh, I thought we were going back and forth.
No. I want you to tell me, because we were talking about this beforehand, and you're like, are you telling me that the Chinese and the Indians are going to agree on how to manage currencies? Like the Chinese that basically have limitations on the RMB, right? They can't do really anything with it. They basically manipulate it to their own benefit, and they're going to be the ones setting the policy. Right. India's just supposed to be like, okay.
Yeah, and by the way, Chinese are also very racist against Indians. So
they hate each other.
Yeah, I know.
And the Indians and as much as we like to, I guess, poke fun at the Indians, are actually a fairly important ally to us, and the president has a great relationship with Donald Trump.
Yes.
So that is not good.
Throwing shit at each other in the street notwithstanding.
I mean, it's not great.
It's not great.
Yeah, but if you're going to do it, you're going to buy that shit with an American dollar.
Yes,
that's a good point.
Yes.
Yeah.
Excuse me, what is the exchange on this shit?
Good old mom.
I want to throw, but I want to budget.
Sir, it's free.
Oh, I can make it. I'll make my shit. I'll go. I make shit.
Because you think about it, whenever we bitch about monetary, we're bitching about the Fed, right? Abolish the Fed, blah, blah. But it's always the Fed. It's one entity. Or at least in Europe, it's the EU and Brussels.
Right.
If you're Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and the slew of other countries like Cuba that they want to add, is it Beijing? Is it Delhi? Right. Is it who is setting the monetary policy? They're never going to agree because one interest rate in China is going to be adversely effective in India or South Africa or China, and these currencies are all worth dog shit, especially the ruble right now is
the
worth.
Indians love them.
The ruble right now is worth nothing.
Right.
That would be.
Well, this would also be really hard, wouldn't it? Also, another reason it wouldn't come to be is the American left. I mean, they hate Russia, but they unfortunately still have to kind of appease China in a lot of ways. So it's just one of those things. These alliances have to fracture.
Well, and plus China is completely dependent upon our market.
Yes,
just like we're dependent upon them for
the
better or
United
worse.
States currency is about 55. It's like over 50% of foreign reserves, right?
Correct.
In the world. Okay,
which is the same level as 25 years ago.
It's been remarkably stable.
It's not exactly something moving around. 50% of U.S. dollar, our global payments are in U.S. dollars, or nearly 50% of that.
That's a 12-year high.
Comparison, China's RMB, it's 2.5% of reserves and 4.7% of payments. So, you get a participation trophy, I think, for numbers like that. You got to pump up those numbers. Those are rookie numbers. But so I think one of the interesting things, too, is like, even if they decided on this tomorrow, even if the BRICS countries got together and they drafted Cuba, their number one draft pick, and added them to the mix, what's to say that because essentially you're ceding power to one country, which is what you have right now. But you have a relatively benevolent actor in the United States.
Sure.
Right? So now you're going to put control in the hands of either Brazil, India, or China, most likely India or China. At some point, let's say that happens. Within a year or two, you're probably pissed off at that country and trying to go form what other alphabet soup of a currency you want, because they are imposing sanctions on you or doing things that you don't want to have to deal with. Like it would be a never-ending process.
And again, this isn't to say the U.S. dollar has been treated with respect by our Federal Reserve and we have devalued it to those problems all exist. This is not to let pressure off of our officials and the people that we put in charge of our monetary policy, because it needs to be corrected. And I think Trump will lead us down that, at least start us down that road. But if you look at the alternatives, they're so much worse. Because there's no capital controls for the U.S. market. So if you want to invest, if you want to pull your money out, if you want to buy a stock, you can do it. In China, it just depends on the leadership's kind of their mood of the day. And so there's no confidence in that market.
No.
What about Ethereum?
That's a crypto market. So
yes, I got crypto.
Oh, okay, no, we said
you can
currency,
do crypto.
not crypto.
No
currency.
crypto. Okay, dog shit.
Exactly. So
that could be a coin.
One of the
it definitely is a coin.
It's got to be a coin already.
Did you have something, Noodles? You were.
I was just going to say, research sent in. Whatever you may think of the dollar, it's still worth about 1,000 rubles.
Yeah,
there you go.
Okay.
Yeah, they're having really bad problems with inflation. So.
Somebody said they can't buy any more of their currency to prop it up, so it's kind of in a bit of a free fall. So ultimately,
their interest rates are at 21% right now.
Oh, hey,
really?
Yeah.
That's small if you're from Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
So I think the main point is look, this is not something to fearmonger about. The right loses credibility when it's like the dollar is being eroded and we're all going to be. No, that's not going to happen. You can say this would be bad if it did happen.
Yes.
Right? And you can kind of lay out why it would be bad. That's fine. But to try to get you to click on a video because you think that something is happening that's going to unseat the United States, it's not even close. And Donald Trump is doing what he should do and taking a proactive step and killing this before it even gets started.
Well, there is something to be said,
point.
especially as it relates to monetary policy, or especially as it relates to international markets. Posturing is a big deal.
Yes, of course.
And so there is a contrast between, in other words, the fear-mongering was taking place because they were kind of playing it coy, right, the Democrats, and talking about this, whereas Donald Trump just said 100% tariffs, done. You're done. You lose this market, right? That is a notable shift. And that makes this, if it was 0.1% chance, it seems now like it's
I just like to see us using the leverage that we have. People need us. For so long, we've outsourced we've outsourced jobs and we've outsourced production and supply chains. That's all very true. But just as much as we need any one of those factors, every single country in the world needs the U.S. market to be healthy or the global economy does not work.
Yeah.
Right. He knows that, and he's taking full advantage of the leverage that we have, but he's doing it in a smart way, not just haphazardly, sanction here, sanction here. No, here's what's going to happen. Let's talk.
He said that too in his post. Go find another sucker.
Yeah,
we're done being taken advantage of. You need us way more than we need you. You're like, oh well, what if you lose this? Fine, we've done it before. We'll figure it out. We've got all the money in the world, so we got a little bit of time to do this. And we set economic policy for everybody. So good luck going your own way and not having the U.S. market to sell to.
And if you ask most countries, they don't mind us being the ones because it's very stable and very dependable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No, exactly right. All right. Thank you, Laying the Brain. Gerald,
job,
I think
sir.
you covered that. That was very nice.
Appreciate it.
And
good to see you, Josh.
Also, in talking about monetary policy, we forgot, brings us to this week's edition of Bad Money.
Firestein here, and welcome to another edition of Bad Money. Now, I'm not just here to entertain you, I'm also here to educate you. So call me, 555-5555, or tweet me at whocares69. Now, Trump is coming out swinging hard against Brics. Oh, no. That's right, they went straight to Brics. They skipped right over straw, plowed right through the sticks, and they went right to Brics. But here's the kicker. Trump's the big bad wolf in this scenario. The Trump train cannot be derailed by sun-dried clay! Sure, some speculators may have transferred their life savings to that new and evolving currency before the election, leaving themselves just enough for a quarter tank of gas to get themselves down to the ammo shop where you'll have enough cash to buy just one bullet. But that's all you really need to do the job. Hello? Yes, that's my license plate. Uh-huh. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Okay, thanks. Hey, when they tow your car because you have a massive amount of unpaid parking tickets, don't panic. Just take out your phone, okay? Open up your map. Find the tallest bridge or the tallest building in walkable distance. Oh. And then once you find it, okay? And when your phone is disconnected because of a lack of payment, easy peasy, just go walk in traffic.
Somehow I think he'll be back.
Yeah, it's a minor injury.
That's my hunch.
Hope you got an airbag.
It's funny. It made me think I just watched The Big Short again the other day, and they don't really talk about how the housing bubble only happened because of the forced policy from the U.S. government. It's all big banks, evil banks. Like, well, hold on a second, but banks make money by getting their loans paid back. Why would they give out loans that they know wouldn't be paid back? Oh, they had to. That's right. And then they turned it into a profitable, really Ponzi scheme at that point.
Well, they took out a lot of competition too. It's like, we can't bail out Bear Stearns, but we can bail out these other guys. Like, what? Why?
It's a great movie. Isn't it funny? Adam McKay did that. He also did Vice about Dick Cheney. And then these are the same people who are going, look, even Liz Cheney endorsed Kamala Harris. Like, but do you have any idea how many of you were involved in vilifying him as Hitler?
Yeah, no kidding.
And now you say it's a good thing? Oh, by the way, we do need to honor it. This has been an installment, of course, of Gerald Knows Geopolitics. Hey, if you're still watching, you can click my face or this box next to me, which may bring you to another video, or it it's going to bring you another video. It'll play another video. But if you like this, it'll be one that you like. And if you didn't like this, you know, everyone deserves a second chance.